All right, today we are diving into a scientific hypothesis that is so ambitious it tries to connect, well, everything, the entire cosmos, the origin of life, and even our own consciousness. It's a wild journey that all starts with a single proposed particle, and we're going to follow that thread and see just how far it goes.
So, right at the heart of this whole framework is one really provocative question. What if there was a single particle that could act as the bridge connecting all of physics, the deep mysteries of biology, and yeah, even our own conscious minds? That's the core idea we're unpacking today.
The paper we're looking at, it's really on a quest for a new theory of everything. And the goal here is huge, to build a single framework that explains reality from the tiniest particles we know about all the way up to the incredible complexity of human thought.
So, where in the world do you even start with a theory that grand? Well, this hypothesis argues that it all boils down to a foundational sequence, a very specific four-step process that supposedly builds all the matter we see around us.
And here is that proposed sequence. It kicks off with the neutrino, which then leads to a hypothetical particle called the axion. From the axion, you get the void, and that in turn supposedly gives rise to what the theory calls 2D matter. According to this model, that's the fundamental recipe for making, well, stuff.
The whole sequence starts with the neutrino and its counterpart, the anti-neutrino. Their most important property here is something called handedness, or chirality. You can literally picture it like a left hand and a right hand. The theory suggests these particles then entangle with the very next link in the chain, the axion.
Okay, step 2 is the axion. Now, it is really important to note that this is a hypothetical particle. It hasn't been discovered, but in this framework, it's the absolute crucial bridge that connects the neutrino to that next stage we mentioned, the void.
Now, before we get to the theory's main particle, we have to meet its gatekeeper, the Janus particle. Yeah, named after the two-faced Roman god. This theoretical particle is said to lock and unlock the flow of other energy streams. It's basically acting like a traffic controller for the entire universe.
So if we have all these fundamental particles, what organizes them into complex structures like, us? The theory proposes a really fascinating answer. Cymatics. This is the actual study of how vibrations and sound can create visible, geometric patterns in matter. It's pretty cool stuff.
And a quote from the source material really highlights just how central this idea is. It suggests that cymatics provides the diaphragmatic activity. You can think of it like a cosmic pulse or a breath that shapes matter into what the theory calls 2D biomatter, which is proposed as the foundational layer for life.
Let's be really clear here. This theory elevates cymatics to the level of a fundamental force of nature. It's putting it right up there with gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear forces. It's proposing a fifth force whose main job is to guide the formation of life itself.
Okay, so we have a foundational sequence, we have a gatekeeper particle, and we have an organizing force. Now it's time to meet the star of the show, the one particle that is set to tie all of this together.
And this is it, the Philfo particle. According to this hypothesis, this is the master key. It supposedly manages energy streams, it interacts with the Higgs boson, the particle that gives mass to everything, and, most amazingly, it's said to connect the physical world directly to human consciousness.
The proposed attributes of this particle are just extraordinary. The key ideas are its ability to interact with the Higgs boson, which means it can basically gain and lose mass. And this final point, which is probably the theory's most radical claim, that it's interactive with human subjects, allowing it to form the very building blocks of life.
So how does it manage all this energy? The theory suggests it conducts two distinct streams. You've got stream 1, which contains light, sound, and vibration. And then stream 2 swaps out light for that organizing force we just talked about, cymatics. So in this model, the Philfo particle is kind of the conductor for this whole cosmic orchestra.
And this is where the theory takes its most unconventional turn. It actually tries to draw a direct line from the abstract world of particle physics all the way to something that's uniquely human, our language and our consciousness.
So get this. The paper proposes a direct link between simple geometry and language. It claims a single point's geometry is AKR, then two of these combine to form AKHR. And this, the theory states, leads directly to AKHR, which is the word for letter in the Gurmukhi script. It's a proposed direct line from pure geometry to a human alphabet.
And the theory doesn't stop there. It extends this connection to all these other human systems. It links the particle to complex math like the Mandelbrot set, and it even proposes a fundamental unit of consciousness called the Psychon.
The implication here is that this one single particle underpins not just physics, but our language, our math, and even our technology.
All right, now we're zooming way out to look at the theory's widest scope. We're scaling up from particles and language to the level of planets and the very structure of life, and entering what the paper calls a 5D model of reality.
Now, within this model, the paper introduces something it calls 5D DNA. Okay, this is not your standard double helix from biology class. It's described as a bilayer of cosmic and geomatter, all managed by that gatekeeper particle we met earlier, the Janus particle.
The theory also makes a really bold claim about Earth itself. It proposes that our planet's core is a natural ferrofluid. That's a liquid that becomes supermagnetized. In this view, the core is actively guiding the flow of neutrinos and helping to power the geodynamo that creates our magnetic field.
And finally, to connect this quantum world with our daily experience, the theory proposes a cosmic flip gate. This mechanism would supposedly link particle behavior to the simple planetary cycle of day and night, managing energy reversals that are in perfect sync with the Earth's rotation.
And all of this brings us to one final, truly mind-bending question that just captures the spirit of this entire hypothesis. What if the universe isn't some passive backdrop that we just happen to live in? What if it's fundamentally interactive, deeply and intrinsically connected to our language, our mathematics, and our very consciousness? It's a profound idea, and definitely one worth thinking about.